The thing you're running from the most is actually the thing that's keeping you back from the life that you truly want to live. So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about how rejection is just another way of redirection. So first, I want to talk to you guys about the burnt toast theory. You've possibly heard about this before. I've mentioned it in some of my videos, but the theory goes like this. So let's say you're getting ready to go to work in the morning or school in the morning, you're getting dressed, but you're like, you know what, I'm a little hungry. I want to go and make some toast really quick. You go with some toast in the toaster, you're getting ready. All of a sudden you smell something. You're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about the toast. So during this time period, you got to take the toast out. You got to either decide if you want to scrape off the burnt part, if you want to throw the toast away, if you want to make new toast. However long it takes you, 5, 10, 15 minutes to figure out all these things, it ends up making you late for your destination, wherever you were going to go. Now you were going to have a good morning, right? You were going to be on time. You were going to be there, but now you're going to be late. So the entire drive there, the entire way there, all you're thinking about is, the toast. If I would have never made the toast, if I would have never made the toast, this would never happen. If I would have never made the toast, that would never happen. You're sitting there dwelling about the toast. Little do you know, if you would have left to go to work on time, there was somebody who would have drove past, or they did drive past a stop sign and they would have hit you. If things would have went your way, you would have ended up in a car accident or you would have ended up in a bad situation. But we don't know that that happens. Why? Because we didn't experience it, so it wasn't real to us. So your entire day is messed up because you think you burnt some toast when the whole time you could have burnt your life. That is the burnt toast theory. Now, why is this theory important? So, as I said before, the theory has been popularized a bit more. Now, this is a mindset theory, also a coping mechanism for some. And the way I think about it and the way that it works is just saying rejection is just redirection. So, we always think rejection is someone literally saying no. We always think rejection is literally saying someone not allowing us to do something. But also, I think of redirection or I think of rejection as being not able to get what I wanted out of life. So in that case scenario, how did rejection happen? Rejection happened from you being to work on time. That was a rejection of that thing. The problem is we run away from rejection. I've mentioned this before as well, but our brains doesn't know the difference between physical pain and mental pain. And so the receptors inside of our brain that go off when we get punched in the face, when we are cutting up some vegetables, when we accidentally cut our hand, that pain receptor is the same pain receptor that goes off when we experience rejection, which means our brains run away from rejection just the same amount as it runs away from getting burned, getting into a car accident, all that stuff. We don't think about it like that, but that's how our brain does it. So if you're constantly looking at not getting the life that you want as rejection, you're not going to do things that may lead you to that. So for example, some people don't understand the reason why you can't wake up early is not because you're not a morning person. It's not because, you can't do good in the morning or, you have a busy schedule. It's because you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid that you might do it for 2-3 days, but you can't do it for the entire week. Because you want the outcome of becoming a morning person, right? But you feel like, I don't know if I can do it. That fear, that doubt that we give ourselves is the reason why we don't do a lot of things. And we convince ourselves, oh, I'm not doing this thing because I can't do. We could come up with a million and one reasons. You will, trust me. You'll come up with a million and more reasons why you can't do something. And your brain will convince you that it makes sense because our brain wants life to make sense for us. But the whole idea is that you're just afraid of rejection. There's some people now who say things like, oh, I kind of want to go back to school, but that's going to take me 4 years. I tell you all the time, 4 years, you're going to be 4 years older just without a degree. So what does that life look like for you? Okay, so that means 4 years, you're going to be 4 years older without making more money. Okay. 4 years, you're going to be 4 years older without living in a better neighborhood. Okay. Accept all that because time is going to go on. Things are going to go on. And I want you to stop having the mindset that just because things don't go on in the time period that you wanted it to or the way that you wanted it to, it's rejection. It's not. If I'm applying for a job and I say I have a bachelor's degree or I have a whatever degree, they do not care if I got that degree when I was 30 or I got that degree when I was 23. I have a degree. When you are applying to live in an apartment building, they don't care that you're getting your first apartment when you're 28 and your best friend got her first apartment when she was 21. Stop looking at rejection as it has a time period on it. You can only do certain things within a certain time. People do this to themselves a lot, especially as we start to get older. When we're young, we have these ideas of life and what we can do. And then we get to a certain age and we get into the mindset of rejection, rejection, rejection. If I don't do something within a certain amount of time, I can't do that thing. If I was to tell you right now that I want to become a rapper when I'm 30, would you think that that was me being, you think that would be successful? Think of one of the richest rappers in the world, Jay-Z. Jay-Z did not become a rapper until he was like in his 30s. No one talks about that though, but he's like the godfather of rap. He has all these businesses, he has all these, but he didn't even become the start of that until he was in his 30s. I've recently talked about the author Robert Greene because I really enjoy him, right? And I talked about how he made the book 48 Laws of Power. I talked about how, he made that book when he was in his late 30s or late 30s, right? He felt like a failure because he's like, I'm in my late 30s. I believe he might have been living with his parents. And he was just like, I'm a failure. Like, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And people I graduated with did this and my friends did that. I haven't done anything. He created that book. That book became so popular and it became so powerful that that book is literally banned in some prisons and in some schools and in some countries. Imagine that. The man who thought he was a failure because he did not do said thing for a certain amount of time, if he would have kept that mindset, he would have never written that book. So I want you to understand there's no time period on failure. There's no time period on when you can't redirect your life. But another reason why a lot of people don't understand that they can redirect their life is because they don't have options. I want you to understand anything that you thought you could have done or you should have done in the past, you couldn't have. We convince ourselves, oh, I went right and I should have went left. No, you only could have went right. You only could have went right. Why? Because the reason why we do what we do is a makeup of our backgrounds, our environment, our upbringing, sometimes parts of genetics, meaning the reason why you do things has a reason behind it. Even from the littlest things, from the color of the toothbrush that you use, to the color of the car that you got, to the school that you chose to go to. Some things we may think it's a big thing, some things we may think it's a small thing, but everything we do is accumulation of all the knowledge that we have, the resources that we have, and the experiences that we have. So you're dwelling over that burnt toast. Oh, I should have never did this. Oh, I should have never made that toast. Da, da, da. Your life experiences led you up to that thing. Some people feel that way about college. Oh, I should have went to college. Some people feel that way about a job. Oh, I should have got that job instead of this job. Your life experiences led you up to what the choice that you made. In that moment, you literally didn't have another choice. We convince ourselves that we have so many choices, but a lot of times the only choice that we have is the one that we made. Because there's things that we've experienced before that made us comfortable with this choice, that made us think this was the best choice. Even if it took us a year to make it, even if it took us a minute to make it, right? We always were going to do this. So don't dwell on your past thinking, oh, I should have never did this. I should have did that. But instead, in order to create a broader future for yourself, because I also don't think there's a good choice or a bad choice. It's just the direction that your life is going in. So if you want to create broader experiences and more choices for yourself, because that's what I think life is about, having more choices, then you need to start experiencing more. You need to start knowing more and understanding more, because that gives you the opportunity to say, hey, I don't really think I want to do this. I want to do that. Why? Because now you have information to back it up. Now you can weigh the pros versus the cons. If you grew up in an environment where people weren't doing this thing or doing that thing, of course you're not going to know what to do. If you grew up in a low income household, low income family, low income environment, I was to give you $500,000 today, by the end of the year, you will be broke. You wouldn't know what to do with it. I do the same thing next year. Give you $500,000, you will do the same thing and wouldn't know what to do with it. It'll be broke. And then next year you will ask me for it again. And you know why you would keep going broke, or why I know that will happen? Because you don't have if you don't go out to get the new experiences, the new knowledge, new information to know what to do with that money, you're going to always live like somebody who never thought they would have that money. Live like somebody who, even though they have $500,000 in their bank account, they're thinking like somebody who has $500 in their bank account. So they're spending it the same way. They're doing it the same way. So that's what I want you to understand. Just because you didn't make the best life decisions, just because you still have time to change. I always tell people, Failure is the idea that you can't do nothing else. Failing is excommunicado, nothing else. So I look at failure as when I die. That's when I failed at life or failed at anything. When I cannot do that thing anymore. The first time around, you thought you were going to find love. You didn't. Find it again. The first time around, you thought you were going to find, your dream job. You didn't. Find it again. But don't keep getting mad at this world, i.e. the burnt toast, because you're not living a life that you want to live. A lot of people don't realize that too. You wake up every single day, you make the toast the same way, you be late to work the same way, and then you get frustrated at the toast again. It's the toast fault. It's the toast fault. This your second week in a row burning toast, and you keep blaming the toast. A lot of y'all are living your life like that. You want to blame society. You want to blame, your job. You want to blame your teachers, your professors, all these people. Oh my gosh, it's their fault. My boss is so annoying. My boss is so this. Why don't you put yourself in a position to get another job if your boss is that so annoying? There's so many people I know who live with their parents. No shade, no problem. Listen, I wish I could say what I listen. But anyway, and they're like, oh, my parents are so annoying. My parents are this, my parents are that. Okay, when are you getting out of the house? I'm not saying you got to do it today or tomorrow, but if you don't even have a plan, if you don't even have a, hey, I'm going to leave the house once I make so-and-so amount of money. I'm in college right now. I'm trying da-da-da-da. You have idea that you don't really want to leave that house. Similar to you don't really want to stop burning that toast. And the other alternative that many people do is living their life in fear. They're so afraid of burning the toast that they never cook toast. They never make toast in the morning and they leave to work every single day hungry. You also don't want that life as well. You want a life within you can feel good in the morning. You want the life where you can also make it to work on time, but you want to understand that if anything happens in between that time, that's just life. That's just happening. You can't dwell on it. But at the same time, if you want to make changes to your life, if you want to make things different in your life, then do different. Stop trying to get the same, similar results or the same results just because something worked once. If it's not working again for you time and time again, that means it's time to change. And don't get fixated just because, oh, this person said this is how you do it, and that person did this within a certain amount of time, so it should work for me. Everybody's life is different, and accept that and understand that. And I hope that made sense to you guys. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. I've just realized a big reason in my life why I didn't go after certain things is the fear of rejection. Is that feeling that I didn't want to get of feeling like I burnt the toast. Is the feeling that I didn't want to get of feeling like I couldn't do the same things that other people wanted to do or they did with their life, right? And so it made me not go after certain things because I was afraid that, hey, I probably won't get it or I didn't do it in a certain amount of time. But then also it made me live the same life that I always did, keep burning the toast, keep being mad about it, keep being in a situation of just dwelling on my past and my past and my past, going in the same direction back and forth. I try to go forth and then I go past. I got to go forth and then I go back. Instead of allowing myself to have multiple options, have different ways to cook toast. Maybe I don't want to cook toast. Maybe I want to cook something else. Maybe I want to, whatever the case may be, but you do not have those options, the availability to have different experiences if you simply do not expose yourself to new things, try new things, and allow yourself to even think about that. Because right now your brain can't even synthesize how to think about some of these things and how to break certain things down. But we want those things, right? We want to make more money. We want to live in a better neighborhood. We want all these things, and our brain literally doesn't even know how to get there. And so, like I said, I know it was a little bit all over the place, but I hope that this video was helpful for you. I really like psychology, and I recently was hearing again about the burnt toast theory, and it was just a different approach to it. A lot of times when people do talk about it, they talk about not dwelling on life experiences, and essentially everything happens for a reason, and just because you were rejected in one area doesn't mean you can't do something in another area. And it could have been a blessing in disguise, and I do believe that as well, but I just felt like I never really heard anybody talk about the burnt toast theory in the idea of that we do it all the time. I think people think about it's a one-time thing. Oh, don't dwell on one thing that happened. But many of us dwell on so many things that have happened to us over time, wishing that we would have did differently, wishing that we would have, you get what I'm saying, started something when we did. And so that causes us not to actually grow because we feel like we could have only grown at that age. We can only grow at that experience when, like I said before, failure is not real. You have many times to try again and go again. And honestly, in the life, I guess what I'm going through right now, I've actually been welcoming failure because I learned the only way I can truly learn is when I fail. When you're going successful at things and you're doing everything good, the first time that you actually fail and you get hit and you don't get the outcome that you want, it hurts so bad. But if you've been having little failures, if you've been having little experiences of, okay, maybe not this way, okay, that maybe not that way, you can learn from those things. Instead of looking at those things as being bad things and bad choices and bad experiences, I just made that choice. I just went in that direction and I didn't like how that felt. So next time, let me go in this direction. You get what I'm saying? Instead of sitting here and crying about the direction that I'm going in. Oh, I hate this direction. I don't want to do this no more. Okay, let's go over here and let's try this. And maybe we're going to go back and maybe we're going to, but at least to give yourself those options. So thank y'all so much for watching my video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one. And comment below any more content ideas you guys possibly want me to talk about or get into.